team at PinPin Films and I released a film called The Battle for First Chair Opening Day Dreams, PinPin 20. And one of the writers featured in that film is Johnathan Buckhouse. These are some shots of Johnathan Buckhouse part from that film, and recently did a live stream with Johnathan, so more details about that in a second. But I brought that up because I've done a science fiction snowboard book that is really a sequel to the movie, so extension of a lot of those same characters from the original film, plus new characters in there. Where we discussed lots of snowboarding topics, including first chair and opening day adventures, first chair as the chairlift opens, as in a brand new chairlift, the Bergman Express at Keystone, and the new science fiction snowboarding book called Snowboarding's Last Stand, A Samurai and the Slingling. I will link to the full episode of Johnathan's live stream in the description of this video, but here are some snippets of the different conversations we had during the live stream.
Welcome to the live stream. My name's Molo.
My name's TT119.
These are Tom's characters from his snowboard movie, and now snowboard book, Snowboarding's Last Stand. Now, this book takes place after PinPin 20?
Correct. So after the events of the movie, this picks up where that left off. Includes a lot of the same characters as in the film, but adds some new characters in there as well, such as a samurai that grew up in Egypt. He learned how to snowboard on sand, so sandboarding.
Sandboarding.
Now you got Jabal right in the middle there, where Jonathan's pointing. He's a bounty hunter, snowboarder. And you have Misty, who's a female character. She's an inventor and plays a major role in this full storyline.
Super rad. Now this is, the artwork is very comic book style. So the plan was I'll strap in and Kenny was going to push me, because the way we thought about it, we didn't know it was a 6 chair, we knew it was a 4 chair, but the way we thought about it was as long as one person from our group got to the lift first, then our group was first chair. Is kind of where our heads were at. And the fact that our whole group was able to get on first chair was one, rad, because it was a 6 chair. But the fact that I got to the lift before the skier means that our group was the first to the Bergman. And so it was a team effort. So Kenny was going to give me a push, but I pushed off that chairlift really good and actually was able to pump. And Kenny couldn't even catch up to me to give me a push. I was already cooking it. And then there was a point where this is where strategy comes into play too, is like I didn't know exactly where the turn was, but I knew it was a right-hand turn. I think that skier didn't really know how to get to the lift. I think he was kind of following my lead. And so I waited a second and I took hard right to go to the lift. And that was when we showed up, I think it was -10 that day. And we showed up like 2-3 hours before the lift opened. And at the top of the Lenawee lift, the wind chill was -40 degrees. It was one of the coldest days I've ever been on the mountain. So when we got to the Lenawee, thankfully I didn't bust a sweat that day, but we had to stay warm while we were standing and holding our spots on first chair. And my biggest highlight of that day, and my thought with the Bergman Open as well, is everyone has their strategy. They think they're doing it, and then when you do your strategy and you end up being the first, like we had a bunch of people that also skinned up, but they did it like 2 hours after we did for Lenawee, and they showed up and their faces of like, oh, they did it better.